Good morning. Welcome to the 2012 annual meeting of the Nonprofit Association of Oregon. My name is Jim White. I'm the new executive director at NAO. Just quickly, I wanted to go over some logistics. So please register if you've not had a chance to register out in the front there. Our team will help you. Jennifer and the others will help you. If the sound, everyone can hear me? If the sound is not good, if you can't hear.
It's a little muffly, I think, in the back. You might want to flip it, make sure the mic's facing outward.
Is that any better?
Yes.
I'll just talk about this one. So can everyone hear? Yeah. Okay. If you can't hear, just raise a hand, or because we're going to have several different speakers up today, so just shout out and we'll fix that. And the all-important toilets are directly out these exits right across the hall here. Okay. If you have any other needs, please let one of the NAO staff know, and we'll be happy to assist you in whatever way we can. Okay. So, as I mentioned, I'm new to NAO. I literally started this Monday. So any success of the last year and any success of this program today is entirely the responsibility and the incredible work of the NAO team. Any of the glitches, problems, issues that occur today are because a new ED was messing around with their work at the last minute, and they were probably telling him, don't do it that way, do it this way. So I'm really looking forward to spending the morning today with you all, getting to know your organizations, and I want to thank each and every one of you for what you do each day here in Oregon through your organizations and through your work. It's such a well-accomplished sector here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today here in a minute. We also know that we're looking ahead to some challenges that we face and the important work we all need to do as an association, as a network. So it'll be interesting to exchange ideas, have discussions, listen to our speakers today, and just generally network and get to hear what the network of the Nonprofit Association of Oregon is doing. So we'd like to thank our friends and partners who support us throughout the year. Did that switch? No. There we go. Who support us throughout the year, and especially today's sponsors. The Alliance of Nonprofits for Insurance, Julie Bernhard is here. Thank you. John Gear Law Offices. John Gear, I understand, is here. Thank you. Kaiser Permanente, Diane Gill. Miller Nash, and The Standard. In addition, our gratitude also goes to Cindy Knowles at the Collins Foundation, Kim Thomas at Meyer Memorial Trust, Dana Miller with MJ Murdoch Charitable Trust, Matt Gimbel at the Ford Family Foundation, Lewis King with Spirit Mountain Community Fund, and the Oregon Community Foundation for their deep commitment to our success as an association of the past year. We'd also like to thank Grand Avenue Floral, Whitney Lyons Photography, who has donated her time today and who's available for weddings portraits, which includes animals, and all your special occasions. And the Portland Center for Media Arts, which is a new nonprofit that is in the business of helping other nonprofits tell their stories through video. We'd like to thank them all for their help in this year's annual meeting. I'm not doing very good at switching these on there. So, I'd like to give you a quick overview of today's agenda. As you can see, we'll have my welcoming remarks, the business program. We're going to talk about the mission and service report, which Rick Nitti will cover. We're going to talk about advocacy and public policy. and some of the work that NAO is doing in that regard. We're going to have our board policy discussion case studies, which I think you'll find very interesting. And we're going to have a governance report and the introduction of our new board of directors. We're going to take a break at around 10:05, and then we're going to hear two very interesting speakers today, helping nonprofits, helping Oregon, which will be Ted Wheeler, and a keynote, Embracing a New Generation of Leaders, which will be Nicole Mayer. And then we'll have some closing remarks, and we'd like you to be networking, and we have a special event that we'll be talking about outside in a book signing. So, looks to be a good program. So what NAO does and why it's important. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you all about what it does and why it's so important. NAO strengthens the collective voice, leadership, and capacity of nonprofits to enrich the lives of all Oregonians. At NAO, we believe that the strength of a vibrant, just, and engaged society depends on strong relationships between the public, private, and nonprofit sectors. Our vision is strong Oregon communities enriched by strong, healthy nonprofit organizations. We believe that the nonprofit sector enriches community life, offers people a way to participate, stands up for underrepresented people, identifies and provides needed services, and pioneers solutions to social and economic problems. I'd like you to imagine, if you can, a world in which none of that is happening, where there is no NAO, where there aren't organizations like yourselves providing after-school activities for children, or who intervene and support street youth and runaways, where no one gives training and support services for people who've recently been incarcerated, or where no one steps in to offer temporary housing and basic human services when people suffer from catastrophes in their lives, where no one cares and changes behaviors on what gets thrown into the beaches and into the rivers. Imagine a world where just having this meeting today is an illegal activity that would not end with new connections, renewed friendships, and great presentations by our guest speakers, but with truncheons and boots, beatings, arrests, and possibly worse. I just spent most of the past 2 decades working in countries where that is exactly the case. You only need to flip on CNN tonight to see that for yourselves. Where organizations like yours are tightly controlled by the public sector or not even allowed to exist and brutally stamped out when they crop up. Or they're seen as the most basic form of charity or manipulated into a dumping ground for shoddy goods by the private sector, but not as a true partner with either sitting at the table of a just and equitable civil society. It was the opportunity to engage with all of you here in Oregon in a state that values our collective work, that inspires me to be a part of NAO. Here in Oregon, our private and public sector colleagues value the nonprofit sector's understanding of communities, and they partner with us in solutions. We are a powerful community. Our voice deserves to be heard. Over the past year, one of the ways that NAO strengthened the voice of the sector was through the publication and dissemination of the first Oregon Nonprofit Sector Report, a collaborative project with Portland State University's Institute for Nonprofit Management, providing current data on the sector to help inform the public about the social and economic impact of nonprofits in Oregon. In the ONSR, we learned there are 22,000 nonprofits in Oregon, and that number includes public charities, private foundations, chambers of commerce, and other similar organizations. Total revenue of those groups is over $72 billion. Billion. Nonprofits in Oregon provide over 166,000 jobs. 65% of nonprofits reported an increased demand for services in the past year. And yet 28% of nonprofits had to scale back programs, with 51% having to turn away clients. We live in a state that has one of the highest rates of volunteerism in the nation. Over 33% of Oregonians give their time to a nonprofit. Individuals who are compelled to not sit and wring their hands when there's a problem to solve, rather they jump forward and find solutions. Our role at NAO is to empower nonprofits with the tools to align their vision with the resources and expertise needed to transform a great and powerful idea into lasting, sustainable action. Action that will transform and impact Oregon communities far into the future. We serve as a resource for nonprofit organizations and a central source of information about the nonprofit sector in Oregon. Through our network, connections are made across the state between nonprofits of all sizes, missions, and geographic locations. We implement our mission and vision by providing key services in support of the nonprofit sector. These services include training and convening, consulting, executive transitions, information and resources, advocacy and public policy, and our member benefits and discounts. Our tagline is "Good Works Together." We know that the good works of nonprofits in Oregon are made possible because of the partnerships we all make with the private and public sectors and with philanthropy leaders, business leaders, and policymakers, and the thousands of people like you who've made the nonprofit sector in Oregon what it is today. We aim to be a resource for all those who participate in this good work and hope you will look to us when you need data about the sector or information about how to get involved. We all have a sacred trust to be the voices for our communities. I encourage you to exercise it vigorously. We know that there is still much work to do here in Oregon. We know that people in our state still struggle for basic rights and opportunities that get afforded to others inequitably. But we should also remind ourselves now and again that there are people struggling all over the world to have what we have here today, a community to engage with and discuss the most basic foundational elements of participation in a strong civil society. That's why your membership in NAO is important. And here's what the NAO team has been working on this year to expand your membership benefits, benefits that save you time and money, in addition to the great perks that NAO already provides, which you can find on the flyers at your tables. We've negotiated a series of new benefits intended to save you money and help you spend more time meeting your missions. One of the benefits I'd like to point out is the $15 off cover price of the Oregon Nonprofit Corporation Handbook, which Cindy and Kay, can you raise your hands? Are they here? They're not here yet. Or maybe they're out there signing already, so you better get out there. They're going to be signing after the program today. So if you haven't got one, look like this, please go out there and get them. They're great. We now have 565 members. I would challenge all of you this year to try to bring one new member into the NAO network in the coming year. Help us to make this network even stronger. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our president, Rick Nitti. Rick served on the original steering committee of NAO and is president for this past year. We're lucky that Rick has agreed to stay on as president for another year, probably partly to keep me in line. He has been an integral part of any growth and success. In addition to his many commitments at NAO, Rick also is the executive director of Neighborhood House, an organization that has been bringing needed supportive services to individuals and families in Portland for over 100 years. Rick?